Hello, welcome back to Pop Therapy. You will have heard that I needed expert guidance yet again to talk about the ending of what has been the entirety of my existence for the last 6 weeks. So Danielle Peterson, thank you so much for joining me again to talk all things Love Island. I mean, you host the Villa Download podcast, so you are the queen of the villa. And I finally finished watching this season last night. It took me a few days. And the reason it took me so long, I mean, I was busy on the weekend with the kids. However, that last episode felt like it went for 17 hours. And I have to say, I was really struggling to, like, I'm just going to say it, I was bored. It was just like, and I don't know if this is how it always is. Like, what more could they possibly do, right? I know it was like the last episode, but it just felt like the endless goodbye. Everyone was constantly just holding hands saying, oh, I'm so grateful. Like, I just love you guys so much. This has been such an amazing experience and we're all winners. This is just like these endlessly long dates. And then we've got to watch each of them do these ridiculous things. I have so many thoughts. Is this how the last episode always goes?
I will say overall, this is how the last week goes, where the struggle is real getting through all of the last episodes. But definitely the last episode, it is longer. You see the date, and I would agree I wasn't that into the date either. Probably because I wasn't that into every couple. I was into portions of the couple, but at that point, I was kind of excited, even though I appreciated the season. I think at that point, we are all just ready for it to come to a respectful end.
Yes. And like even just the dragging out of, oh my God, we've got to watch each individual couple come down the stairs and say, wow, you look so beautiful. Then we've got to watch them walk the red carpet by themselves and look at pictures of themselves that we've already seen 100 times because we've been glued to the television for the last 6 weeks. And then we've got to see them pick up a glass of champagne and see the bigger screen with more images from the past and be like, wow, amazing. And then we do it all again. And then we do it all again. We do it 4 times for each couple. Like, why couldn't they just all come down together and just be done with it and have different pictures flashing up? Like, I was just like, oh. And then Ariana's coming out and, you know, how are you feeling? Like, we know how they're feeling because it's all they've been talking about for the last 137 minutes. Like, move it along, chop, chop. Just tell me that Brinity's winning and, like, let's go.
Oh, yeah, but really I mean, with every love competition reality show, you do need to have that little package at the end of what their journey is, especially because they definitely do get new viewership just from finale day. So they want to bring viewers up to speed. And something that they did new this year, Yana, is when they did the walking down the stairs, they didn't normally in previous years, I don't think, they didn't do that photo montage, and they haven't seen some of those photos, you know, so it does give them the oohs and the ahs. And correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know if I wasn't paying attention enough. Did they write love letters to each other?
Did they did a letterbox challenge?
Yes,
earlier on.
So normally that type of love letter is saved for today. Normally the couples, they would have written, you know, their final love letters to each other. So they did a lot of changes for this finale like that. And then also, you know, how they handled, you know, the winning couple. There was just a lot of changes. But I get at this point, it feels a little dragged out and you want to be like, let's get on with it.
Yes. And like the way Ariana like sits with them and says like, okay, and tonight we're going to crown the winner of Love Island 2026. And the winner's going to win $100,000. Everyone's like, yay. Then they're like, let's go. And then she's standing on a circle and she says the exact same thing again. And it's like, we know, like, let's go. Like, let's go. And I was also starting to have some stronger feelings that might be a bit controversial about a couple of the couples. So first of all, like, how did you feel about Bryce and Trinity winning?
They were ultimately the couple that I did want to win out of the 4 couples. So I was happy for them to win, especially seeing their journey from the start and the way they pulled at each other's hearts. And I just think Bryce, even though at first, like, I was questioning his emotions because I felt like he wasn't showing emotion in his eyes, but maybe he was just playing a little Zoolander instead. But I think you could just really tell that they do truly care for each other. You got the looks. Not only are you a bombshell, you are a Zoolander as well. But no, you can just genuinely tell they like each other, though.
Yeah, I completely agree. I was ready for them to win. But like at the beginning, I was like, oh, he's so awkward. He's so uncomfortable. It's like, what is this? But I think it's just his personality. Like, I think he is just a little bit like shy and awkward, and he was out of his comfort zone. But when we saw him go to Casa and just be pining away, I think you and I had our first chat around Casa time. And I remember talking with you about it at the time, just thinking like, oh, he's just so uncomfortable with the challenges, the sexual challenges. He's just kind of like going along with it. And then like just pining for Trinity. And that was just like, I was like, hurry up, just put this man back with his woman. And like that was what solidified it for me. I was just completely convinced at that point that they had genuine feelings for each other.
Yeah. And then also the vulnerability that she has shown throughout with, you know, the challenges and the insecurities, the doubts, the big move that she's making with as a Black woman dating a white guy, which is out of her norm, and and wondering if she's going to be accepted. So I appreciate it because that's not something that I get to see in my everyday. And obviously I don't experience myself, but I appreciate her vulnerability. And then the conversation that it opened up, even though people, not to, you know, get on a tangent, even though some people don't feel like this was necessarily the best season or the best couples or collectively the best individuals, I just always appreciate the conversations, the water cooler moments that come because of the show. Whether or not it's a good topic to talk about or a bad topic to talk about, we are talking about it. And they helped with some of those conversations, Bryce and Trinity.
Absolutely. And I think, you know, bringing Sierra in from Summer House, who had started this conversation culturally about what it's like to be a Black woman on reality TV, dating white guys, and what that experience is like for her. And we can't step into her shoes and ever understand what that's like and what kind of heat she gets and what kind of comments she gets from her community. But then to kind of feel like the conversation continued a little bit, because I feel like there are Bravo fans that follow through to Love Island. And so that conversation, you know, was able to keep going because of Trinity. And then seeing the way that their families came together and were just so in love with each other. And it just felt like, I feel like maybe that was kind of the unspoken piece for Trinity. Like, will my family look at him in the same way that I do and love him like I do? And so clearly those families were just like, yes, this is the best thing ever. And we're so happy. And, you know, Trinity said something like, you know, my mom saying like, everyone, the whole family loves him and everyone's like giving him the tick of approval. You could just see it was just that last little piece of relief, and for them to just kind of like fully go for it and just be in love. And, that was beautiful. I loved watching that.
Yeah, and then it was equally returned from his family to her. And, Grandma Bryce, who is the MVP of this season, put her in next year as a bombshell 100%. Casting. Or no, Grandma Bryce needs to host like one of the competitions next season or something. I would die about that.
Oh my God.
She was
seriously
so hysterical.
She could pick like who she could host a competition about who gets to go to the hideaway.
Yes!
So funny. Oh, she was hilarious. But going back to Family Day, because I feel like that was part of the same week, but God only knows. Like, I'm so upside down.
Yes, it was. It was.
It was? Okay. Mm-hmm. So the way that Sincere's dad came in, I was, after the high of everybody else's reunion with their families, you just knew that something was coming with them because they were being held off to the very end. And to see his father's disappointment and the way that he held his son's feet to the fire, I really wasn't expecting that.
I agree.
I mean, that truly was, I felt sick. Like watching it, I felt sick for Sincere as the penny dropped for him, seeing he thought he would have to contend with Melanie's family and do some explaining. Yeah. And I think his words were, I'm going to have to eat some shit and that's fine. I don't know that he was expecting his dad to come in and be so intense about it. So what are your thoughts as a parent and as a viewer? I mean, has anything like that happened before?
No, I cannot recall any parent having that type of talk that Sincere's father had with him. They might have been thinking it in their head, but they're biting their tongue and they're not saying it to that extent. As a parent, sometimes it is hard for me to bite my tongue. I let my kids know and pick them up when they are doing amazing, which is constant. But I also let them know when they're doing something that they are not supposed to. I wouldn't do it in front of a whole room, but it's also different when you have the cameras in front of you. And he needed to shake Sincere and get him out of the trajectory that he was going. Otherwise, his stay outside of the villa would have been even worse than it is right now, which is pretty bad.
Yeah.
But it would have been worse had Sincere's dad had not shaken him to finally see the light, because Sincere wasn't seeing the light. I kind of feel like maybe he is a little bit, but it's doubtful.
Yeah. I liked what he said. He said, I can't remember if he was talking to Bryce about, or maybe he was talking to his dad and his brother about this actually. And he said something like, I am doing a lot of reflecting and growth, and, I know that my growing has come at the expense of Melanie's feelings and other people's feelings. So I feel like that was quite an insightful thing to say. Like, he's not just saying, oh, this is just my journey and I'm learning a lot about myself. He's actually also acknowledging that in his growth, he has cost people a lot of pain, and that his family's not okay with it, and that he is also not okay with it. And I think we saw a real shift in him in those last few days. Point. He was not in even a particularly good way. I actually felt he felt like he'd done bad, and he, I don't know whether that was him thinking about the shit he's going to get online and the reality, he's out of the bubble and people from the outside are coming in saying, you're a problem. and your behavior is not acceptable and this is not okay. Not just his family and Melanie's family, but obviously that's a little bit of the temperature of what's coming. But
yeah.
I don't know, he just felt like he was more subdued in those last few days all the way to the end for me. And I almost felt like that brought Melanie a bit closer to him, because I think she felt bad for him because he wasn't fully himself.
Yeah.
I don't know. Am I reading too much into that?
No, I don't think you are. And I think something that, and that is, I appreciate that viewpoint. Because you do remind me, and we've said this so many times, like how our opinion can change from day to day, episode to episode, like 30 minutes from 30 minutes. Yes. And all the viewers need to realize these are 20-something-year-olds. Yeah. Had I made the mistakes that I made in front of television, that would have been horrible. It would have been horrible.
Horrible.
You know, and some of these Islanders, you know, they're put in scenarios that they've never been put in, have this temptation they've never been put in, on top of being bored AF.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't excuse it, but I just think we all need to understand it's not that serious. Yeah. It's not that serious. They're here to hopefully find love, make friends, maybe gain some followers. Although I have to say, Yana, I don't feel like this cast this season was that much into it as compared to the previous season. So I respect that of the cast, but I don't know. Everybody does need to chill out. It's okay to critique their behavior, but the hate that's coming for some of the Islanders, it just ruins the show for me. And it's not fair to them, to their family, to their mental health. You know, people just need to calm down.
Take
the
step
temperature
back.
down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like we see, okay, it's hours. We see hours, but they're 24/7, and we're not watching 24/7. It's not like back in the day with Big Brother, where in Australia they used to have a live feed online and you could just jump in and like see what they're doing.
I loved
this
that.
Is definitely same, but this is like a curated, edited version of what is really going on. And sure, people are actually saying the things that they're saying and they are doing the things that they're doing, but it's a snapshot. And, you know, I feel like with Sincere, and maybe people won't like me saying this, but I do just feel with him, it's an emotional immaturity. It's not that he is like Corbin had some bad boy about him. And, you know, I could see him like doing the naughty things and being the F boy that he was kind of pegged to be a little bit. I didn't feel that with Sincere. I felt like there was just an immaturity in him that was not fully developed yet. His frontal lobe probably has not even finished fully developing yet. I don't know that he fully knows who he is yet and how he wants to present himself to the world and how he wants to be as a man in a relationship. And he admitted himself, like, he's a people pleaser. And he was on a TV show where they're encouraged to explore with other people, and he did it. He just was telling everybody really lovely things and making promises potentially to people that he didn't mean. And I think that is his big lesson, that you just have to be more honest with yourself about your feelings, and then work out how to do that. But even for adults in their 40s and 50s, that's really hard. You know, how many people do we know in real life who would find confronting their feelings or being really vulnerable to somebody really, really difficult? You know,
don't even get me started on a 40-something-year-old family member of mine that I want to have words with, because he kind of pulled a Sincere with a friend of mine. So yes, and it's like, you're grown. Why are you acting like you are on Love Island?
Got it.
So yes, I will excuse Sincere for his behavior, and compared to other guys on the show, he does feel like he wants to be emotionally in tune. He wants to build his emotional IQ. And to your point, we only see pockets, but also hot take. While I do think Corbin is an F-boy, going from sincere to Corbin, I feel like there were aspects that we did not see of him that the edit did not allow us to see. Because when I hear Islanders talk about Corbin and how he was the one to call people out and to make sure that they were being authentic and all this other stuff, that's not necessarily what you always saw in camera. So what I would do for that cutting room floor, those clips, just to know it all.
Yes, totally. I completely agree. And, again, in defense of Sincere, everybody who's come out and done an interview has said, like, oh my God, like he moved. We didn't like the way he moved in there, but he is like such a good guy. And the same with Zach. Like, people are going crazy online about Zach. And I was messaging you last night, like, what the hell is this about? The Final Four all put out a statement on Instagram. It's like their first post. And it's about, like, stop being mean to Zach, basically. And I don't really understand what people are going so crazy about. Like, is it literally just that they think he was trying to win the game and trying to, like, be on Love Island and be strategic, or question marks about his real feelings for Bryce? I don't get why everyone's so angry. I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't know if it has to do with Bryce or they don't like the way that he treated Trinity or they felt like he was playing a game. I don't know. But the fact that fans, or I'm not even going to call them fans, because at that point, are you really a fan of the show if your delulu-ness is bringing you to this point where they're reporting all of his accounts for wrongdoing, which he hasn't done any wrongdoing. Yes, he didn't make it official with Kata at the end, which, hey, I do kind of have to respect that, just like I have to respect on Married at First Sight, or Married at First Sight at the end, if they decide to stay together or not, or maybe they just want to keep on dating, or even The Bachelor.
Love is Blind.
Yes, Love is Blind. You doesn't have to end an engagement, but it should have clear communication and communication of, hey, these are our future goals, which he did do. But of course, we love Kata and her face card, so we want more for her. But I almost called him Charlie. But Zach is by far not the worst male to have ever been on this show. So this hate is baffling. Yes. Baffling.
Completely.
Like,
what? It's bizarre. He was so clearly besotted with her. And like we could see that from the beginning. And I think he was trying to do the Love Island thing. And, people complaining that he's playing a game, like they are all literally on a game show to try to win money and in the process hope to find love. Like, it is a game show, bottom line. It is a competition series that's been on for a long time across the continents, so people know what to expect. And we can't criticize them for playing the game. They would need to come from another planet to come on the show and play it entirely naively.
Right.
Like, nobody is in there completely blind to the game of it. Maybe some people were there not caring about the money or anything, but I just don't understand. Like, I really felt like towards the end, that was a really kind of mature call from Zach, and Kata went along with it. But to say, like, let's do this on the outside and make it real out there, because does he live in Australia or does he live in the UK? Like, he's saying you've got to come to Birmingham. And
I was confused by that because they did bring up Australia, and I was like, say what? Like, I don't remember that being brought up, but maybe he has been bi-coastal in that regard. I'm not sure.
Yeah. But so they've got a lot to figure out. And I guess what they're not saying on the show, because they're not breaking the fourth wall in a sense, they're not saying, you know, let's see what opportunities come from being on the show and whether it would be more beneficial for me to be based in the States, or because, you know, he's just kind of like saying like, I'll just bounce around. I'll like stay with you, Bryce, or I'll go here, I'll go there, I'll get some Airbnbs. Like nobody knows exactly what opportunities are going to come now and where they're going to go and what, you know, I mean, I don't know what he does with visas, but
yeah,
they've got a lot to work out. So correct. I understand that it's not like, let's be boyfriend and girlfriend and make this fully official. Like, let's definitely be exclusive and be together and let's try to see if we can make it work.
Yeah, that's a fantastic point, because I think what everyone forgets, including the Islanders in the villa, is that they are the most long distance of the relationship. So that is a huge hurdle to overcome, and a lot of pressure initially if you are calling yourself boyfriend and girlfriend from the jump. You probably need to feel a little bit more secure that you have a legitimate game plan to start off being boyfriend and girlfriend on successful footing.
Well, that's exactly right. Like, you can't just say you're going to be together and that's it. Like, I remember there was a couple on 90 Day Fiance. I don't know if you ever.
It's been a hot moment. That universe got way too big. I had to step back from it, but seriously. That would be a good rewatch.
Yeah, well, there's so many of them. But there was a couple where there was a guy from the UK and a woman in the States, and they were together. I think his name was John, and I can't remember her name now, but I can see her face. And she had a baby. She was pregnant when they started talking. And it was obviously not his baby because he's on the other side of the world. And, you know, they had this long-distance relationship, but he had some criminal charges that meant he couldn't, like, from fighting, you know, with like getting into fights when he was younger. And so he couldn't get into the States. And so they were together for years and years, with her just flying to the UK to see him and applying for visas and getting rejected. So eventually they have since broken up. And, you know, there is so much to this. Zach and Kate legitimately don't know if they can legally have a future together, because who knows what their situations are and where they're allowed to live and be together. They may have to move to Fiji to be together. Like, who knows? But, like, it's not a guarantee. So I think it makes so much sense. And I just wish they'd sort of spoken about that more openly instead of, like, just pretending this is just a wait and see thing. Like, there's so much to it.
Yeah, no, very good point.
Okay, so moving on to Aniya and Carl. I have to say, I don't think Aniya has feelings for this guy at all.
You don't? Really?
Yeah. I don't think.
Oh, that's a hot take. What?
Yeah. Our runners-up, our second place, our storybook prince and princess, I don't believe she has genuine, real, here's what I think. I think she sees him and she sees that he's perfect and she knows that he's perfect and her family thinks he's perfect and his family loves her and everybody is telling her he is perfect for her. And he's great. And she really likes him. And she's really grateful that he came in and rescued her from the burning building. But I have never seen her do a passionate, open mouth kiss. Everything they are doing, it's like, if you're watching this on YouTube, it's just like her lips are like pursed, closed. There's been some heat from him, like he's tried to, but you see all the rest of them, and I know this shouldn't mean much, but it's like the rest of them, you can see there's that sizzle and that sexual chemistry. And look, maybe she's not a very sexual person. Like, she started putting it on a little bit with Carl. Like, she wants everyone to think, I was going to F that man in Say Less or whatever it was. But I didn't really think she was going to F that man. She, like, gave it a go. They had a little makeout, but it was by far the least steamy moment of all the steamy moments that we've witnessed. You know, every close-up of Kenzie with every guy she was they were like hot makeouts. I didn't see Aniya get hot and heavy once. That's just one tiny fraction of it. Since the KC rejection, there has been such a sadness in that girl's eyes, and I don't think it ever went away. And I think Carl, it was beautiful, and she means the things she says about, like, I'm so grateful, like, for everything. But I do not truly believe there is a fire alive in that girl, and she is seeing a future forever with this beautiful man, and she's going to be torn up about it because he is amazing and great and lovely and perfect for her. But I don't see it.
I have to respectfully disagree. Although I do see your point, though, Yana, about sometimes when you see the person that is so perfect on paper, you know, like, oh, it's the perfect blueprint, that you do just want to cling to it. But I do feel like we've seen passionate moments from her and him, and they were passionate moments. And maybe she's just not a big kisser. I mean, you know, she has an NBA dad. I think that her family, they're not like WAG reality TV type of basketball family. I do think they hold themselves to a certain caliber. I don't think she wants to see her family acting a certain way, let alone she didn't want the Islanders seeing her act a certain way. So during their passionate moments, when they replayed some of the clips, even Trinity was like, oh, that's how you get down? Because that was private, just for them. But some people aren't passionate kissers. It sucks when you encounter them, but
yeah, it does.
You know, just some people aren't, though.
I get that, and I fully, completely understand that. I would feel like mortified going on that show and being sexual with someone for my family to see. However, I see your point, and I raise you the challenges. She had no problem, like, acting out sex, you know, shaking her ass, like, literally in a G-string and tiny little outfits, and like the rest of them, you know, grinding on each other and like making out. Like, that was like, if you want to be concerned about how your family might perceive you, they were like full-blown orgies, those challenges. And she went in, she gave it a go. So, like, I would die to have to do something like that, and for my father to see that, or an uncle, or like my cousins or ex-colleagues, or like, you know, just the like, you care maybe less about the strangers in the world, but like the people that really know you and see you doing that, like, oh my God. So, you know, she could do all of that publicly, which I think is why I felt like I don't know. Or is she just actually, and again, this is going to sound really mean, but is she just actually a bit boring, you know?
I thought you were going to say grandma. I don't know. I mean, she might be. But something that every Islander, their mindset is a challenge is a challenge. They all have the mindset that they can go balls out with every challenge. Literally. That's like the free card, free spot card, so to say. And during these last couple of weeks, there hasn't been as many sexualized competitions where she could be like that with Carl, unless they just didn't show that in some of I feel like as we got into the last couple of week or two, it's been lesser challenges, also gross challenges too. You know, it hasn't been as sexual as disgusting.
Why do
get rid
that?
of the food competition. Everybody fast forwards. There has to be a study done, y'all. Like there has to be a study done. Like how many people fast forward through that? It's not
disgusting. Yep.
Come up with something
fast forward. New. Gross. Do they do that every year? Do they?
They do it every year across franchises. It's disgusting.
Disgusting. Don't want to see it. No, it's like it doesn't move the needle forward in any way. It's not interesting. It's not funny. It's not sexy. We're not learning anything. You know, like even the cake challenge with Megan Thee Stallion. Some of that was like, oh my God, like when will this end? We've got to like do this for every single person.
Yeah.
But then there were parts where, you know, they would have to say something and we learned more about people's feelings and where they stood and a few surprises. Like if they'd just done that little wedge of the challenge, that would have made it more interesting. But like we don't need to see musical cakes for 40 minutes where they're just like dance around, sit on a cake, you're out, and then dance. Like so much wasting of time and resources like that it just does nothing for the show. So I just wish, you know, like make them answer more questions. Let us get to know them. Let them play like, you know, those games that I hate them doing on The Housewives where, you know, you're asking, you know, never have I ever or whatever. And we're learning
like the table topic. The table topic questions. But in this case, they have such a short amount of time together, not months, not seasons. They need to get to know each other. And I think past seasons, they did focus more on the conversations. And I hear a lot of folks saying, and maybe once I digest the current season, have a week break, I'll go into the UK. But that's what they say about the UK. It is more focused on the conversations, less of the gimmicky, less of the competition. And they do have the competitions, but at least we get to hear all the conversations, which, to your point, we pick up so much from those little nuggets as to how those people are wired, which is so important.
Yes, completely agree. Like, how can we have opinions on whether Zach and Kata are right for each other? Just as an example, if we don't really even know where he lives, like, let's hear the conversations about, you know, I live in South Australia at the moment, but I'm going back to the UK and, you know, my plan was to live there for the next, like, you know, below deck. They all talk towards the end, like, what are you doing after the season? Oh, I'm thinking about maybe going to, you know, Spain, you know, or I'm going back home to South Africa and I'd love you to come. Or, you know, like there's more depth. And I think that was missing for me. And the last week of just the same kind of like very like, I don't even want to say surface level conversations because they're talking about having strong feelings for each other, but it was just so repetitive. Like, how are you feeling? So great. Yeah, I feel like, you know, I'm just so happy in my couple and I'm just so happy I met you guys. Same. How are you feeling? Oh, I'm just so happy in my couple and I'm so happy I met you guys. Like, we heard that for a week and I was just like, tell us more about like, what are you really going to do at the end of this? Like, what do you actually do in real life? Bryce, are you going to go back to fixing dump trucks or like trash trucks or whatever you're doing? Or like, are you planning to like, Trinity's got an open door, but like, let's like, what are your day-to-day lives really like? Like, talk about what that's really going to look like. And how does your family and your friends, what do you do with your friends? Like, we really actually don't know anything really about any of them. And I don't know if that's specific to this season or, you know, do you feel like you knew the previous season's cast better?
I would say yes. I felt like I knew them better. Not last season. I felt like last season still, it was surface level. But all the seasons prior, to my recollection, I do feel like I knew them better. Never to the extent that we want to get to know them, unless they were a fan favorite and they got all of the airtime. Mm-hmm. But no, I mean, because it's so hard, they just take little little snippets of what's actually happening. So that will be the interesting part of seeing them go on podcasts afterwards, so that we do get to know more of behind the scenes and how they're wired that we weren't able to see, unfortunately, on the show, which would have been more genuine and authentic as compared to them now explaining it after the show, after this fame and everything.
Yeah, exactly. So in terms of how this goes now, the reunion is not until the 31st of August. Mm-hmm. We are mid-July right now. So it's like 6 weeks away. Is it normally that far apart? Like, this feels like a long time to wait.
Yeah, I feel like it has always been this far apart for the seasons that have gotten reunions, because I don't think every season has gotten a reunion. I could be wrong in that, so don't hold me to it. But they need to give them some time to digest. They want some things to iron out, get back to their real life. I don't know. I think more drama comes about because of that, and they need time to see the clips. They don't know everything that happened behind the scenes. Unlike, let's say, the Real Housewives, leading up to their reunion, they've seen practically every single episode except for maybe the last one or two. And then if not, they normally see the last one like the night of, or the day, or the night before, or the day of. Okay. How would they be able to have a good reunion without really knowing everything that occurred? So a little bit of that. I wonder if it's also anything for any like psychological reasons as well, because I know that while it's hard to think about this, that production, the whole Love Island family, they are so big on mental health and making sure that they have time to digest afterwards, talk to people, regroup with their loved ones, especially after seeing some of the aspects that are on socials. It would be hard to take them off, throw them into what they're seeing on socials, and it's like a 1-2 punch. You don't want anyone to get like officially knocked out that they can't get back up from. So they need some time to gather their thoughts and their footing, I think. But I get everyone's anxious. And in a month and a half from now, some folks are going to be like, I'm over it. I have Love Island fatigue and I'm not going to watch it. So that is the risk that Peacock runs at that. But regardless, they're going to have crazy numbers that are still going to beat the previous season. It's probably going to take a big deep dip from the finale, but still going to beat last year's numbers. And that's all that matters.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, and I keep forgetting that it's actually, the entire cast. So we'll get all the bombshells, like Saul's going to come in and like have a lot to say. I think, poor Sincere is going to get slammed a little bit. So I hope he does get some really good support between now and then. Yeah. But you're right. Like, it's taken us 5 or 6 weeks and have barely been able to keep up with the amount of content there is to consume in that time. So how could they possibly, it's not like they're going to sit there and watch 10 hours a day in the next 2 weeks and be ready to go. You're 100% right. I didn't think about that. I guess I just, want a bit more follow up. So are they allowed to do podcasts between now and then? Are they all going to be on the Viall Files?
Oh, God. Definitely some of them will be. I won't be watching Viall Files. I can't bring myself to watch that one specifically.
You're not alone,
but
girl.
I do know Kenzie's going to be on Call Her Daddy.
Okay.
So that was announced. But yeah, I'm sure that they'll definitely be appearing on some. And I'm here for it. Although I'm sure after a while I will get some fatigue myself. But in the meantime, I still am not fatigued. I'm going to read the Enter the Villa, the Love Island book. And the author Anna Peel interviewed like over 50 Love Islanders.
Wow.
So I haven't fully hit my fatigue wall yet.
No, and I've seen Anna Peel doing some interviews and that piqued my interest. So maybe that'll be my next read too, because, you know, it looks like I'm on the Love Island train. You know, I am in. It's taken up a huge chunk of my life, but like I'm in. And I have some complaints, obviously, but I'm in. And I think I will continue. So I think I need all the lore and all the like backstories. So I think I'll get onto that book as well. But in terms of the final four, what are your predictions about their future? What do you think is going to happen with each of them?
I would say compared to the last season, I feel like more of them will stay together. I definitely see keep on wanting to say Bryce and Trinity. I do see them going really far. And I see her traveling the world with him while he DJs as well. I think his DJ gigs are really gonna pick up. People say that he is a really good DJ regardless, but he doesn't have the DJ douche attitude, so that's good.
Nice
to hear. Carl and Aniya, I do think that they will make it. I hope that they will be, but she will have to be willing to move to Arizona, I think. I think he lives in Arizona for school. Oh, Denver, yes. Yeah. Denver for school, so she would have to move there to make it work. But I think that they have such support from their family that if there was struggles, they would help push them that extra little bit to make it work. Melanie and Sincere, I see them only lasting as long as they do together because they feel like they have something to prove. And they want to prove everyone wrong after everything that they went through. Like thinking back to Summer House with West and Amanda. It's like at this point, you better milk it for all it's worth and make it last as long as it can last to show the audience and the world that it was worth it to go through all of this stuff and the hurt that came from it. But I don't see them lasting really long unless he gets busted in public for cheating, which I really hope that he would not do. Like, I really do hope that he learns from it. But regardless, I think she deserves more. That doesn't mean he doesn't deserve a good girl. I just don't think that they're right for each other right now. And then Kata and Zach, I wish the best for them, but I don't know. And in part, I don't know because I feel like there's probably things that we didn't see on air. So I don't know. It's hard to say.
Yeah. I mean, I know this is, look, I'm with you on that, except I'm not sure about Aniya and Carl, but I think she will go along with it for a while. You know, and then it might just be an amicable breakup because they couldn't make the distance work. But actually, I will know that it's more than that. And she doesn't want people to know. And she's got the fairy tale ending. And, you know, because she was so deeply humiliated by what happened with Casey. Like, she really was. And I'm not sure that you really can process that. I feel like she is a sensitive and a sort of deeply thinking person. And I just don't think she had the time to really recover from that before Carl. You know, like Carl could be the right person. Yeah, at the wrong time. Like, you know, she just I just feel like they want it to be. I mean, the producers wanted us to like get behind them and make this the fairy tale,
Princess
literally.
Diana.
Exactly. Like it was a lot. I mean, that book was so cute, and like how much effort went into that. Like that's incredible. But I also just, like I feel like Trinity and Bryce were the real fairy tale.
Yes. And go ahead.
Go ahead.
What was going through your head, Yana, when you saw the other Islanders react to hearing about Aniya and Carl's date and seeing the book? Like, that might have been the most enjoyable.
Yes.
In a bad psychological way. Part about the episode was just watching the reactions.
Yeah.
What were you thinking when you saw them?
I think I feel like the girls were just going to always support and love each other no matter what. Mm-hmm. And they were just constantly like, yay and yes, and we're so happy and yay. And so much like screaming and squealing. But there must have been a part of them that was just like, are you serious? Like, you guys met a week ago. Some of us, as Kata said, we've been here since day 3. Bryce and Trinity, we've been here since day 1. Melanie and Sincere have like really been through some rough roads and like found their way back to each other. But like, I actually don't think Trinity has the malice in her to look at that and be like, really, bitch? Like, that should have been me. But
I don't think it bothered her. But you could see in Melanie and Kata's face, they were like,
what?
Why not us?
Yeah.
Like, that's not fair.
Yeah. And I think, and it was almost like you could see the penny dropping a little bit about the outside. Like, these guys, the ones that either the producers or the fans are cheering for, you can just sometimes see when the outside. I reckon there would have been conversations, because I think Zach really is conscious of what is happening outside, because he's lived it with his brother, right? Yes. He's like been through the show with his brother, being on the outside
2 times, because his brother not only dealt with Love Island, but his brother had a very hard time with Beyond the Villa.
Okay.
Too. Yeah.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Where he almost didn't want to come back to reality TV.
Really?
At all. So he should be more. He is in the know, but it's surprising he's not more conscious of it.
Yeah, okay. But I feel like he was more conscious of the cameras and the, how things might be perceived than other cast members were, or at least he was more obvious about it.
Which is a disservice.
Yeah, yeah. And so it just sort of, I reckon there would have been conversations later, like between him and Kata, which they probably didn't air, which were like, what the fuck? Like, why are they being treated like, and I think they actually would have been devastated to be 4th out of the final 4. Like, I would have, if I was an OG in there as well, I think I probably would have felt a bit ripped off that Aniya and Carl came 2nd.
I think a couple weeks ago they would have felt that way, but they were surprised to have even made it to the final 4. They were shocked that they made it to the final 4. Okay. For that reason.
Yeah. Yeah.
But true. I don't know. I would feel salty afterwards.
Yeah.
A little bit. I would feel salty afterwards.
Yeah. And I mean,
well, still wanting nothing but. Both can be true. You could want nothing but the best, and you can be rooting for your girl, but inside you can be like, damn.
Yeah.
Questioning things. That's all.
Yeah. Because, there was something where America voted, and Kata and Zach in particular were really upset about it. Like that America voted us in the bottom, or was it?
Yeah, least compatible. I think it was least compatible.
That's what it was. Yeah. Like Zach was like in his bed with a pillow over his head. And like that was a reaction to perception from the outside. So, I can imagine that now that he's out, if he's getting such negative responses online, this would be killing him. Like the poor guy. Like I actually don't think it's deserved. And there were, other things to be angry about in the last 6 weeks. And I'm not sure that Zach is, we need to like slow down on the hate train, I think.
Yeah, he's not deserving of hate, let alone that type of hate. Again, you can have constructive criticism towards these Islanders and their action and maybe throw in some jokes here and there, but this type of hate, you don't know what it does to someone, whether or not you're verbally putting it out, whether or not you're putting it in the comments. I mean, they see it though. And the bad comment is going to be the one that sticks out in their head, not the million other good comments. It's going to be that lingers in the back of their head that chips away at them.
Of course. And, we know the risks. And I think Love Island is a series more than any other where there have been terrible tragedies and really serious mental health issues with people post show. So I think everybody, in this day and age, we surely need to be more aware of the impact on mental health. All of the, like, I get having an opinion. Obviously, you and I have opinions and we do podcasts about our opinions, but I would hope that, we're not saying things that could really destroy somebody's mental health. And there is always so much of that on, in the Bravo world and everywhere else. The fandom is wild. And I just think, it's undeserved. This is a silly show. People have exposed themselves and lived away from home 24/7. It's not like the Housewives where they show up to a shoot and then they get to go home and decompress. Like they're together in a room with people every single day. And that would be so exhausting. Like, even if you think about the little things, like how are the girls managing their periods in there while also walking around in like tiny string bikinis?
Oh my God, I didn't even think about that. Now I wonder if it's in the book. If not, that has to be a question to ask her. That is a really good question.
Like they're there for 6 weeks. Is no one getting their period? Like they must.
I don't know.
And then
are they all synced up by the end? I don't know.
Probably. And then are they forced to walk around all day in those bikinis? Like on that last day, Trinity was in a thong like until pitch black at night, and I was just like, how uncomfortable to be sitting in that bathing suit, like for what I imagine is at least 8 hours, 10 hours, like they're not. And then like bringing in the families. I think I messaged you about this. I'm like, why are these girls being forced to wear dental floss to meet their families and their potential future parents-in-law? Like and they're all coming in fully clothed. Why are the girls in string bikinis that are so tiny you can barely see them? I don't understand it. Am I just old? Like, what is this?
No, it's not that. It's hot out. It's hot out there. It's just a requirement. You can't go on Love Island wanting to wear a one piece. It's like, it's a prerequisite when you sign your name over. The one prerequisite is that you have to be barely wearing anything. Yeah. I'm surprised, I mentioned I was at the pool earlier today and, there's butts out galore. Yeah. And this is at a suburban pool. So I don't know if it's just becoming more of the norm. I'm jealous. I can't show off my behind like that, but maybe if I had one like that, I would. So kudos to them.
Totally agree. They are so beautiful, all the girls, and they look amazing. This is by no means a comment on them. They're absolutely gorgeous. And if I looked like them, like I wish, as you said, that I could walk around like that too. But I would also feel really uncomfortable sitting there with strangers, parents I've just met, while I'm in my bathers. We call them bathers, but in my swimsuit, while everyone else is dressed. I would at least want a sarong or like, something, some sort of like, I don't know. It just felt really weird. And it did feel like they were sort of told, you have to go put on a bikini now and we'll let you know when you can get changed again. Because yeah, I just, some of the boys were wearing, I mean, was some of them wearing a shirt? I'm trying to remember.
I don't even know if any of them were wearing a shirt, honestly.
Maybe not. We're going to have to go back and check the tapes because it's
roll the
clip. Okay. So overall, how would you rate this season out of all of your seasons of Love Island US? Where does this one sit for you?
Oh, that's just so hard. Because like season 6 was a lightning in a bottle season. So it does such a disservice to every other season that follows. Because it's like, how do you live up to that season?
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. Maybe I would give it like a 6.5, 7, because I'm comparing it to 6. And then I'm also comparing it to like the viral moments that came out of last season. There wasn't as many viral moments. There was a lot of talk and conversations that had to be had because of this season. But there wasn't necessarily like an abundance of viral moments or quotes that you would want to buy a t-shirt or a coffee mug of, like I normally do every season. So it's missing that. But I do like, though, that the casting, they listened to the audience and they went back old school with more authentic people who were searching for love. I do feel like everyone was searching for love in that show. Corbin, I questioned a little bit, but ultimately I think he could be a lover boy if he really wanted to be. Lightning strike me, I'm probably wrong. So for that reason, I appreciate that they brought back more authentic couples. And that's part of the reason why we got Bryce and Trinity. But I don't know, there's a little bit of like some of the magic was missing this season. And I don't know if it has to do with that producer that passed away. There was just like a lot of different tweaks that they did this season, which it's good to switch it up. But I don't know, there's just something missing in the formula. I don't regret watching it at all. I'm going to continue watching Love Island.
I love it. So where do you go from here? Because, I mean, I know you watch Bravo, and there's plenty of Bravo going on, but will you launch in, and what are you going to be covering on the pod in the absence until we get to the reunion, obviously, in 6 weeks' time? Are you going to take a little break? What are you going to be doing?
After this week, I might take a little week break just to absorb and regroup in life, because this does take a lot of time. But no, covering Bravo, McBee Dynasty, which your girl, Dana, Bravo investigator, like she's diving into it deep. Holy cow. So I don't know, I'll just be getting into that and taking a look at what other new shows are coming up. And then I'm going to finish reading this book. So hopefully I can also have Anna on the pod too. I don't know, seeing where my TV remote takes me, which is, my favorite thing to do.
I'm right there with you, girl. And I'm sure I will be texting you about every little Love Island thing that I see in the coming days and weeks, because I'm a little bit obsessed, even though I'm so glad it's over and I don't have to watch any more of these ridiculous challenges and long, boring scenes. I do like the people and I want to see where they go. And, Trinity had like more than 2 million followers. You know, I was looking at it last night. It was going up.
Damn.
Every time I checked it again, it was going up like another 100,000 people.
Crazy.
Every 20 minutes. Like insane. In fact, I'm just going to check it now. Let's just.
Yeah, I wanted to do the same too.
Okay, let's go. So Trinity, I think it is. Let's see. She is currently at 2.7 million followers.
Oh my God. Yeah. I have like goosebumps.
That is wild.
That has to be the fastest growing Love Islander in U.S. history.
Yep. That's what they're saying.
Wow.
And you know what? Like I feel like she deserves it.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm happy for her. I feel like she was just a breath of fresh air, you know? Mm-hmm. She was herself. She was vulnerable. She was sweet. She was funny. She was tough. You know, she held people down. She held people accountable. I don't know. I feel like she's been the winner in my mind for weeks, and I'm so happy for her.
Oh, for sure.
So happy for Bryce, and I hope they have the happy ever after.
And I hope they make a Tubi movie together.
Yes! And I hope we see them get married one day, and that'll be so cute, even though I know they're young, but he's not. But isn't he like 29, 30?
Yeah, I think he's 30-something. Early 30s, like maybe 31, 32.
Okay, yeah. Because she was worried about the age gap. But I think it was like 5 years, you know? Like,
not
she'll be fine. No. Oh, my goodness. Well, Danielle, I cannot thank you enough for coming on and going down the Love Island path with me one more time, because I just needed to get some of that off my chest. I love that we disagree about a few things.
Yeah, I appreciate a good disagreement.
Yeah. And I guess we'll have to see where things take us. I will be watching Aniya and Carl very closely.
I hope to prove you wrong. I hope so too.